students. This is Dr. Mercado. How exciting is this? We are almost done with Chapter 3 assignments. Now, I will be going over the last problem over Chapter 3 for this particular lecture series. Remember, Chapter 3 deals with Social Security taxes. We've been practicing for 2 weeks now on Social Security taxes. So by now, we should be more familiar with the concepts. We have completed 2 Forms 941s. I've gone over 2 of them with you. And a whole bunch of other calculations, such as calculating OASDI, SI, HI, and so on and so forth. Now, in this particular problem, we are going to be dealing with penalties. What if we submit our payments late? Okay, what are the consequences? What's going to happen? Okay, I do want to remind all students to please read the chapter carefully. If you have any questions or concerns, you reach out to me. Also, read the questions or the problems instructions carefully. Okay, I have a lot of students just skipping the instructions or skipping reading the problem in detail, and then that causes them to make mistakes in the actual problem solving. Such is the case for when it asks for specific rounding on specific calculations. Okay, so just be very careful when you're reading the problem. Make sure that you understand what the problem is asking, that you've read all of the information and take all of the information provided into account. Okay, so let's start with the last problem that I'm going to be covering with you for this particular week. This problem is problem 316, and it deals with a variety of penalties. Okay, so it says, Vulcan Company is a monthly depositor whose tax liability for March is $2,505. Okay, what is the due date for the deposit of these taxes? Okay, so this is a monthly depositor. On your book, there is this little table that basically gives you what kind of depositor you're in and when you're required to make your deposits. Now, in this case, Vulcan Company is a monthly depositor. So if we look at the monthly depositor, it says here that these are required deposits by the 15th of the following month. So if they had figured that they owed $2,505, that means that the payment must be made by April the 15th. Okay, April the 15th, because it says so here. Let me just format this into general. April the 15th. Okay, why doesn't it just leave it in general? April the 15th. Let me do text. Let me see if that works. I don't like it when it changes it. There we go. April the 15th. Finally. Okay. So, it says here that if you're a monthly depositor, which is the case of this particular company, Vulcan Company, they're monthly depositors. The due date would be the 15th of the following month. The following month is April. And the 15th, that would make it April the 15th, the due date by when you have to make your deposit, okay? If it's not a banking day, then it would be the next available banking day, okay? Now, make sure that you refer, depending on the type of depositor, is when you have to make your payments, okay? Now, it says assume that no deposit was made until April the 29th. So we should have made the deposit on the 15th. We didn't make it until the 29th. We were 14 days late. We have to compute the following penalties. Okay, the first penalty that we have is the penalty for failure to make timely deposits. If you go over section 37C in your book, it talks about the failure to make timely deposits. Okay, and it gives you a little information. And it outlines, depending on the number of days you were late, how much you are going to pay for that particular penalty. Okay, so in this case, we were 14 days late. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to locate that information. So because we were late 14 days, we are going to have to pay a 5% of the undeposited taxes. Okay, and we selected that tier because we are 14 days late. So that 14 days late falls into this tier right here, that second tier, which is 5%. So we're going to get the amount of the taxes. The amount of the taxes was $2,505. And I'm going to multiply it by the 5% penalty. And let's see what we get. me get my calculator. It'll be 25, and it's 2505, not 2. You see? A simple typo. Be very careful when typing, okay? That could happen to anybody. Make sure that you read it carefully. So it's 2505 times 5%. That gives me $125.25, okay? So my penalty for making my deposit on time is $125.25. Now, my penalty for failure to fully pay the tax. Okay, there's another section on the book, section 37B, failure to fully pay the employment taxes. Okay, it says additions to the tax is a 0.5% of the amount shown as tax on the return. So in addition, we have to pay 0.5%. Okay, so the amount that we have on the return is 2505. And we're going to multiply that by, and it says here, 0.5%. 0.5%. Okay. So it's 2505 times 0.5%. That gives me 12.525. Because that third digit is a 5, I'm going to round up to 12.53. Okay. We also have to pay some interest, okay? Interest on the taxes due. If we look on that particular table provided, towards the bottom it says, in addition, any taxes due will bear interest at the rate of 3%, okay? So we're going to pay interest of 3% for, let me say what it says, per year, okay? So we have to calculate the interest. So we know that the amount of the taxes was 2505. I'm going to multiply that by the rate of, how much was it? 3%? 3%. Yes, 3% times 3% times how many days were we late? We were 14 over 365. So I'm going to pay interest on those 14 days. So let me get my calculator out. So the amount of the taxes were 2505. We are being assessed a 3% interest rate on that. And I'm going to multiply it by the number of days which were late, which was 14 divided by 365. And that gives me $2.88. Okay, so I have to pay interest of $2.88. Okay. Once we are done, we can add the 125.25 plus the 12.53. Sorry about that. Plus the 2.88. And let's see what that gives us. 125.25 plus 12.53 plus 2.88, 140.66. So that is the total penalty imposed because we made the payment late. We were supposed to make the payment on April the 15th. We made it on April the 29th. That is 14 days late. So because we were 14 days late, we have to pay a penalty for failure to make the timely deposit, a penalty for failure to fully pay the tax, and the interest on the taxes that were accrued. Okay? So that cost us, not making the payment on time, it cost us $140.66. Okay? Make sure that you refer to the correct tables. Make sure that you read the information so you understand where we're getting this information, the different tiers provided, the different rates provided. Everything is in the book. Okay? So this is an illustration of how, or the consequences basically, of not submitting your payments timely. If the payment is due on the 15th, we should make all efforts to make those payments by that date to prevent any additional cost to the company. In this case, being late cost the company $140.66. Okay? Make sure that you complete all of your weekly assignments on time. Your assignments are due on Sunday by 11 p.m. Please make sure that if you do not get a 70% or better on the first try, either of your homework or your quiz, you use the second attempt provided to try to improve. Please try your exercises, your homework problems as much as possible. Try to understand what you're doing because everything on your homework is intended to help strengthen your ability to be able to solve these problems in the actual workforce. Okay, so you're going to be working with this information. You're going to be preparing these reports, the 941. All of this information is going to be very helpful to you. So it's very critical that you understand what you're doing. Okay, so that is basically it for this lecture. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and until next time, bye bye.